Hello and welcome to Cynthia Yoshikawa Yoga. I am Cynthia, and here is another video on yoga pre-practice prep. In your yoga practice, you might come across some yoga cues that you just don't understand. I have had more than my share of moments like this. For me, if I understand the goal of a spoken cue, then I can make the correction with intention as opposed to just doing it and wondering if I'm doing it right. Every yoga posture has specific intentions. There are areas that the posture strengthens and areas that it lengthens. And when the tension between the areas is balanced, then the body becomes more balanced. For me, that is what the physical practice aims to achieve. So as you practice, the focus isn't on the goal of how the posture looks, but the sensation or how it feels. Focusing on the goal of how a posture should look can actually just pull you out of alignment. So in this video, this is going to be part 1 of hips. I'm going to talk about and focus on open and closed hips. The first is the closed hip posture. In a closed hip posture, everything is facing forward, head, heart, hips, legs, knees, and feet. Just like in standing forward fold, in high lunge, or warrior 3. The second is the open hip posture. In these postures, the hip opens up away from the center with the head, heart, hips, and back leg following in the direction of the open hips. Usually the front leg or the balancing leg and foot is facing forward. And you would see this in warrior 2 and triangle. And I'm going to actually show you the difference between closed hip and open hip postures. And then we'll see how that knowledge can inform your practice. So a closed hip posture means that the head, heart, hips, knees, and feet are all facing forward, and the hips do not open up at all. Everything is just facing forward. And you would see this in a posture like forward fold. As I fold forward, hips stay closed. And as I come out of the posture, hips still stay closed. They do not move. They stay facing forward. And this would be the same in high lunge. Hips stay forward in high lunge. And even in warrior 3, as I move into warrior 3, I don't know if I can do this here. In warrior 3, hips stay closed even as I come forward in the posture. Well, sort of forward. My balance is off. Now, in an open hip posture is when the hip actually opens up from center. So this is center, and as it opens up, then my head, heart, hips, and back leg move with the open hip, right? And the hip opens up from center. So this is closed, this is open, right? So open hip would be a lot like warrior 2 is an open hip posture. So my head, my heart, my hips have opened up away from center. The back leg has followed, and the front leg is still facing forward, leg, knee, foot. So that's an open hip posture. And the other one was it warrior 2 and triangle. Triangle is also an open hip posture. So triangle would look like this: knee, foot, leg facing forward, hips facing the side. So it's open, and then you would come into the posture here. Now, why does this make a difference? It makes a difference particularly in a closed hip posture. If I'm in a closed hip posture like high lunge, and the hips are supposed to be facing forward, if your hip starts to open up, it might mean that a muscle is too tight and it's forcing the hip open. So that's your cue and clue to shorten up your stance. Because in this posture, the intention is to lengthen this hip, right? But if it's being pulled to the side, then the intention comes away from this hip flexor here. So that is your cue. If it's being pulled out and the intention is for it to be closed, that's your cue to shorten your stance so that you can be in a place where the stretch, the lengthening and strengthening happens where it's supposed to be happening. And the other posture that is actually very apparent is in Warrior 3. Warrior 3 is a closed hip posture. If I reach forward in Warrior 3, and in an effort to try to get this back leg up really high, I open the hip. Woo! I open the hip to try to do that, then I'm now using a muscle back here to lift the leg when I shouldn't be using that muscle. And then it takes the tension of the stretch away from the area that needs to be lengthened. So that is also a big clue for you that you need to lower the leg so that you can be in a place where you're strengthening what needs to be strengthened and you're lengthening what needs to be lengthened. And that's why that's important. And a really big clue for you to adjust the posture to what you need for your body in that moment. So, I hope this video was helpful to you and gives you an idea also of how you can adjust your practice for your body and what you need. Because if you're in an in-person class and there are 30 of your best friends in that class, your teacher might not be able to make those corrections, or they might not be able to help you with that because they have so many people to work with. And unless you're doing something really, really, really that you shouldn't be doing, then they'll come and help you. But I think it's going to be so useful for you to have tools so that when you're in a class in person, or even if you're taking an online class, you know when you need to adjust that posture for yourself. So, I do hope this was useful for you. If it was, please like, please subscribe, please watch. If you think this will be useful for somebody else, a friend of yours, or anybody, I'll go ahead and share. It also allows the YouTube algorithm to know that you're watching and that you want more of my content or more of content like mine. And it gets my channel to grow, and it gets this information out to more people, because ultimately that's my goal, is to have as many people getting this information as possible. So please like, subscribe, let's please the algorithm gods. And I have part 2 of the hips coming up, and there's also part 3 because they're very distinct, the 3 different hip positions. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.